Los Angeles Lakers continue to go on a spending spree, and we're breaking it down here on the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I am Chase Sr. Rob Pelenka, Executive of the Year, certainly giving the Lakers an A grade for what they're doing in free agency, led by Pelenka, and that is continued on this Tuesday afternoon on day 2 of NBA free agency. This coming in from Adrian Wojnarowski. No, that's not Chris Haynes as the photo. It's all good, though. Restricted free agent Talen Horton-Tucker has agreed to a 3-year, $32 million deal to stay with the Los Angeles Lakers. His agents at Clutch Sports, Rich Paul and Lucas Newton, tell ESPN. I was a little bit worried if Talen Horton-Tucker was going to be able to come back to the Lakers. This is a team that is skewing older right now. They have a bunch of older veterans on this roster. THT, one of the lone young pieces on this roster, and I didn't think they had enough money to afford him. So I'm not sure if at $10 million per season, if the Lakers are going to have to make another move in order to shed some salary. Maybe there's a restructuring of sorts that one of these veteran players is going to kind of maneuver with. But Talen Horton-Tucker, one of the key lone young pieces on this Lakers roster, back to LA on a 3-year, $30 million contract. So I'm actually a big fan of THT. I kind of compare him a little bit to a smaller size Draymond Green. He certainly has the thickness and the size of a Draymond, but he's only 6'4", 234 pounds. But I do like his passing out of the high post. He's continued to work on his three-point game just a bit. I understand that last year he shot around 28% from distance, but I think that number is going to continue to go up. And in the second half of the season, without LeBron James as well as Anthony Davis, that number did get a little bit better. This is a guy who can score the basketball for you. He can dribble it. He can handle it. He can take over some point guard duties when Russell Westbrook is out of the lineup because he does have command of the offense. So a well-rounded player who's still only 20 years old. I thought there were going to be a lot of suitors out there who were maybe going to overpay for Talen Horton-Tucker, giving him $13 to $15 million annually. Turns out, works out well in the Lakers' favor. So this coming from Woj, we got the photo right. Horton-Tucker is an important asset for the Lakers, a young 20-year-old ascending talent with a penchant for scoring. Lakers expect him to take a big step this season. And LeBron James has been a big fan of Talen Horton-Tucker for a really long time now. I mean, a big reason why the Lakers didn't trade for Kyle Lowry at the trade deadline was because Rob Pelenka didn't want to include THT in that deal, which would have also included Dennis Schroeder, KCP, and possibly Kyle Kuzma. For the Lakers, works out for them because they don't pull the trigger on Lowry. He goes to the Heat, getting $30 million per year. The Lakers, I think, have crushed it throughout free agency so far, and they get to retain one of their own in the young piece, that is THT. So, THT, signing with LA. Grade it for me right now in the comments section. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade it down below. As for Kendrick Nunn, he just signed with the Lakers as well. You know what's funny? I'm sitting here talking about this, and I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, with all of the moves that the Lakers have made, are they going to have open roster spots for all of the talented pieces on this roster? From top to bottom, I understand they're a little bit older, but from top to bottom, this is a lineup that is loaded with a bunch of talent and a bunch of different guys who possess a bunch of different skill sets. Kendrick Nunn has been a really good story. So went to Oakland, went to Illinois at the college level, and in his 2 years with the Miami Heat, this guy has a knack for scoring. That's where the Lakers are really going to be able to use him. And after that Rush trade, I had said it here on the channel, you got to get floor spacers. That has certainly been a point of emphasis for Rob Pelenka. Kendrick Nunn, yet another guy who can let it fly from distance. Last year with the Miami Heat, like I said, this guy can score it. 14.5 points per game, shot 3-pointers and knocked him down at a 38.1% clip. I like his stroke. I like his mid-range. He's got a little elbow J to his game. He's a guy who's going to go on hot streaks. He's going to go on cold streaks. But when you need some scoring in a pinch off the bench, Kendrick Nunn is going to be able to provide that to you and for you. So Kendrick Nunn going from South Beach to LA, no state income tax in Florida. LA, not too bad either. Two very good places to live. Which is the bigger move? THT or Kendrick Nunn? Get your votes in the comments section down below, and let me know what you're feeling on this one. I think it's really important for the Lakers to bring back a young piece in Talen Horton-Tucker. I also think that Kendrick Nunn is a pretty good scorer, and coming off the bench, he's going to be able to give you a lot. So I'll go THT just because I think this roster is older. LeBron James about to turn 37. Anthony Davis somewhat fragile. You don't have a lot of young pieces on this team. THT really being one of the lone pieces now with Kendrick Nunn. I think THT could have a more profound impact. Laker Nation, this is why you subscribe, because like Rob Pelenka, we've been killing it during NBA free agency as well. We're pushing out videos like crazy because we're operating like a machine here at Chat Sports. Every move that the Lakers have made so far, we have you updated. Make sure you are subscribed, youtube.com/Lakers TV, or hit that red subscribe button down below. We're going to continue to get you covered, keep you up to date with everything that the Lakers are doing. As it looks like Rob Pelenka slaying the game in NBA free agency, putting this team in a prime position to once again compete for an NBA title this upcoming season. Lakers free agency tracker. Let's run through it for a bit. Trevor Ariza, 36 years old, went to Westchester High School, UCLA. 3-and-D guy, a little bit older, can still defend and knock down threes. There's value there. Wayne Ellington, still a sharpshooter from deep. Really like him as well. I think he's going to be able to get a bunch of open looks on this Lakers roster. I actually think he could start at the 2 for you alongside Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and possibly Marc Gasol. Dwight Howard, this is now going to be his 3rd stint with the Lakers. You saw how much of an impact he had and how important he was on the Lakers 2 years ago, helping them win a title as a depth piece. Good shot blocker, good rebounder, good guy for the culture, future Hall of Famer. Dwight Howard extending his career in impressive fashion. Kent Bazemore, another 3-and-D type of guy, although he can kind of put the ball on a string and handle at least a little bit. Clean left-handed stroke. He'll compete for a bench role. I'm not going to say his contract or his role on the team is guaranteed going into next season. Carmelo Anthony gets a team up with his best friend in LeBron James. These guys have been in the league since 2003. Crazy to think about that. I was 11 at that time. I'm now 29. These guys are still churning in the NBA, playing at a really high level, and here I am bringing you the latest NBA news and rumors during free agency. Malik Monk, another floor stretcher coming off a career season, looked as though he was going to be a bust coming out of Kentucky as a top 12 pick, shot 40% from deep last year. Talen Horton-Tucker, kind of a do-it-all guard who can get it done on both ends of the floor. Gives you a lot of size for his position. I think the Lakers are betting on his upside and his potential. This is a guy who Rob Pelenka really likes. LeBron James has thrown a lot of compliments toward him as well. 3 years, $30+ million for THT. Didn't think the Lakers were going to have that financial wiggle room in order to bring him back. I ended up being wrong. Kendrick Nunn also signing a 1-year deal with the Lakers. He's going to be able to come in off the bench, maybe give you some spot starts as well, and be a sharp shooter for LA. How do you feel about all of these Lakers free agency moves? I think the Lakers may have overtaken the Heat as the most active team in NBA free agency, and like the Heat, they've been equally as effective and impressive. How do you feel about them, though? Type L for like, type H for 8. Be sure to get those votes in the comment section down below, and let me know what you're thinking about the Lakers free agency moves.